We've got a good road network. As you can see, the road network is excellent, okay, leading to individual plots. So those that have already bought are able to reach to their plots and be able to actually begin their construction.
There you have it. Would you like to visit the Green Village this coming Saturday? Please don't hesitate to contact us on the numbers scrolling below. Thank you. Welcome to the Horizon Properties Green Village project. Behind me is a site plan for the entire project, and today we're going to dive into it.
Yes, this is the entire site plan for the Horizon Green Village project. So when you look at this project, you realize that everything is planned for. Look at the road network that is there, look at the amenities that are there, but then allow me to mention some of these amenities that will be within the gated community. So here, right here, is the shopping mall. So if you're an entrepreneur who wants to invest into the gated community, maybe you want to buy your residence there, you have the shopping mall where you can be able to do your businesses. We have the hospital where we also are going to incorporate doctors. So if you're a doctor, why don't you buy into this gated community? We have the secondary school there. Teachers will be within this gated community. We have the primary school teachers as well. We have a game ranch there where all the residents will have time to just go there and relax, okay? You'd want to watch animals that are there, you go there and be able to relax. Maybe there's someone that has visited your home and you want to take a walk. You can walk there and be able to watch some animals. Then we also have the police station. Remember, gated communities are known for security, okay? So if you are a young couple, you're a family that is concerned about your security in your area where you're staying, the Green Village is the best option for you, because we're going to have a police station, but also we're going to have different firms in terms of security that will be within the gated community. We also have the market here, okay? So as I mentioned, you're an entrepreneur who wants to actually sell your merchandise. You have a place designated for you as a market where you can be able to sell. We also have churches. Remember, Zambia is a Christian nation. We actually incorporated the space for the church, okay? So these churches, we're not talking about it to be just a single church. It will be actually an interdenomination in terms of the auditorium, okay? So different churches will be able to actually congregate there. So these are some of the amenities that will be in place. But allow me to mention, here just near the entrance, there is a play park, okay? This play park is already in existence. We are yet to finish it, but it has already been started, okay? So there's a play park there. When you look at the services as well, we have got water already on site, we've got electricity, we've got a good road network. As you can see, the road network is excellent, okay, leading to individual plots. So those that have already bought are able to reach to their plots and be able to actually begin their construction.
There you have it. Would you like to visit the Green Village this coming Saturday? Please don't hesitate to contact us on the numbers scrolling below. Thank you. Welcome to the Horizon Properties Green Village project. Behind me is a site plan for the entire project, and today we're going to dive into it.
Yes, this is the entire site plan for the Horizon Green Village project. So when you look at this project, you realize that everything is planned for. Look at the road network that is there, look at the amenities that are there, but then allow me to mention some of these amenities that will be within the gated community.
Marketing side of things from Horizon Properties. But before we get into that, here is a notice to all clients that have bought land from Horizon Properties. Now, Horizon Properties Limited are committed to delivering faster services efficiently and effectively to all their customers, and they pledge to place integrity, honesty and diligence at the heart of the service delivery. However, they advise their customers that the obligation to protect the interest in the purchased properties is solely upon you. They wish to strongly advise that you exercise the following simple due diligence measures to secure your property. Ensure that the property is fenced off at its boundaries to prevent squatters, trespassers, illegal entry or encroachment by third parties. Inspect the property from time to time to stay up to date on any suspicious developments on the ground. Assign a responsible diligent caretaker overseer, preferably one who is a member of the local community, to keep a lookout on the property if you do not intend to commence developments immediately. Always consult a registered surveyor or Horizon Properties offices to assist in beacon setting and boundary verification whenever unsure. Consult a registered surveyor to assist with site beacons and verify boundaries before you commence development on your property. And ensure that you obtain written statutory approvals before commencement of development works. Now, Horizon Properties will not bear responsibility or liability for any squatters, trespassers, illegal entry or encroachment on a property by third parties beyond the conclusion of the sales transaction. They therefore advise all their customers to exercise and apply the above measures as much as possible to avoid being inconvenienced. We now listen to a presentation by Dr. Sokyo Mpindi, CEO from Horizon Properties.
Good evening, listeners. Welcome to this evening Property Focus program brought to you by Horizon Properties, your local expert with a global reach, member of the leading real companies of the world. Last time we were here, last Tuesday, we were talking about the beauty of investing in land and its benefits and advantages. I mentioned that land is an asset that is tangible. Land cannot be destroyed, easily destroyed. Apart from ground rent, there are no any other fees you're paying, giving you a peace of mind. Land is reasonably affordable in Zambia, and on the other hand, land appreciates on daily basis. Looking at the factors of increasing population and the population and the rate of urbanization, depending where your land is, and also there's no any more land to be created. Therefore, the demand will keep increasing as the population increases. This also involves different kind of development that occur in different areas where land is located. Your land can easily appreciate within a day or within a period of time, a short period of time. Your land can appreciate to give you a return that you never expected and can change your life just around. Having said that, this evening I would like to highlight to you some of the factors, some of the main factors that affect the housing market. We all here, we look forward to having a house or having houses to generate income, or housing as a shelter for the family. Housing is very, very critical, and also is also emphasized in the 8th National Development Plan, which has got the 4 pillars, but it is also very much emphasized the affordable housing, decent affordable housing. So real estate market in Zambia isn't very well structured and developed like in many other developed economies. In most cases, it's very difficult to understand. They seem to have limited options for real estate investment. While in other versatile real estate economy environments, there are several real estate investment options. Although we are seeing an improvement where we are registering the real estate investment trusts at ONSEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, recently registered investment trust. These are companies that are registered where we individuals, companies invest collectively, and they get a return out of the rentals in that way. That is happening, though at a slow pace. As a real estate investor, whether you're just starting or an experienced one, it is important to understand the factors that affect the real estate market. Some of the factors that affect the market: economic growth, interest rates, demographics, unemployment, disposable incomes, government policies and laws, and also the supply of housing units. These are some of the major factors that affect the real estate market with respect to housing. I'll start by looking at the economic growth. Another key factor one of the key factors that affect the value of real estate is the overall health of the economy. This is generally measured by economic indicators such as the GDP, employment data, manufacturing activity, prices of goods and services, and so on. But broadly speaking, when the economy is sluggish, the real estate sector also is sluggish. However, the cyclic nature of economies have got varying factors on different types of real estate. For example, if a real estate investor has a large percentage of its investment in hotels, it would typically be more affected in case there is a downturn. Hotels are very sensitive, and they can easily be affected by a downturn than real estate investors who invested in office buildings. Hotels are a form of lease of property that is very sensitive to economic activity due to the type of lease structure inherent in the business. Renting a hotel room can be thought of as a form of short-term lease that can easily be avoided by hotel customers should there be economic difficulties. On the other hand, office tenants generally have longer-term leases that cannot be changed in the middle of an economic downturn, unless there is a pandemic like that we experienced. There now, it becomes inevitable, just an act of God. It's inevitable that the landlords must adjust to the devastation or the occurrence. That's though you should be aware that a part of the cycle, you should be aware as an investor, you should know which part of the cycle, of the economic cycle, are we in. You should be cognizant of the real estate property's sensitivity to that cycle, because the economy is a cycle, it's up and down. So you need to know at where is this cycle, where is the economy in terms of cyclic nature, so that you're able to adjust and understand or regulate your investment, knowing when is the economy going to rebound. So economic growth is a very important factor that can affect the value and return on investment in real estate. The other factor is unemployment. Unemployment is a very serious factor to do with housing, because when the unemployment is rising, fewer people are able to afford a house, and therefore, of course, if you're unable to buy the houses, so the market now is slowing down because there's a lot of the high rate of unemployment. People are unable to have money to invest in housing. The other factor is interest rates. Interest rates, although the economy, our economy is structured, is not really structured in a way that the financial sector will support housing through lending, because the interest rates available in the market, they are unable to support adequately the housing subsector. When they are effective and structured in a way that we have financial institutions that can support housing, interest rates affect the cost of monthly mortgage payments. A period of high interest rates will increase the cost of mortgage payments and will cause a lower demand for buying houses. High interest rates make the renting relatively more attractive compared to buying. You better keep on renting than incurring the cost of mortgages, monthly mortgages rates. You can continue sustaining your rent. Therefore, high interest rates promote renting, and meaning that the housing subsector is not growing. Interest rates have a bigger effect if homeowners have a large variable mortgages. In Zambia, the interest rates for mortgages by many financiers are quite high and unaffordable by many. High interest rates make the mortgage market unattractive, like in Zambia. The mortgage market in Zambia is quite very small because of the high interest rates. So the mortgage market is very unattractive because of the high interest rates. It simply means that there will be very few individuals interested in buying houses from the risk market by way of mortgages. So interest rates, that's how they affect the housing market in general. But I've made a connotation to say that we have a special kind of situation in Zambia where the structure of the economy, the financial sector is not structured to financing housing development, because it's long term. Housing development is long term. So we have very few, if any, financial institutions that can sustain the long term financing. The other factor to look at here is the supply of housing units. It is all related to the financing. The high costs of capital from lending institutions has hindered the increase in the supply of housing units on the real estate market. And that's why the housing deficit is increasing day by day. The supply of housing units has caused the demand that has been pushing the cost of houses. Now, I'd like to make a clarification here. Currently, the cost of housing is high and very few buyers, especially on the higher end. The vendors or the suppliers or sellers of houses are not reducing the cost of the houses. Reason, these houses are not, they are not financed. So they would rather wait as long as it takes to get what they want. So, and there are some houses that have been in the market even for 2 years, 3 years, but they are not reducing. So in other words, the house market is also responding to the economic situation in Zambia because of what I've just mentioned. The other factor that you need to observe as a real estate investor, whether you are learning, whether you are an amateur or experienced, is disposable income. This is also related. This also works well related to the interest rates and unemployment. How much an individual will spend on the purchase of a house or plot depends on the disposable income available. This is after taking into account all the monthly expenditure and in consideration of how much can be spent on the purchase of the house, or rather mortgage, if at all it's a mortgage. So this is a factor, because ordinarily you could not spend on a house more than 30%, but with the inflation and the devaluation of the kwacha and all other factors, these estimates they are no longer standing. The other factor that that has been usually ignored is demographics. Demographics are the data that describes the composition of the population, such as age, race, gender, income, migration patterns, and population growth. These statistics are often overlooked, but significant factors that affect the real estate, how it affects how the real estate is priced, and what type of properties are on demand. It's pretty to note that major shifts in the demographics of a nation can have a large impact on real estate trends for several decades. For example, in Zambia, the large population is composed of the youth, and therefore, as real estate practitioners, what are we thinking? And what are we advising the public, and indeed our clients, regarding this huge percentage of the market that needs to be serviced? What can the youth afford? And where are you putting your investment? Currently, in the past 3 years, 4 years, the upper end subsector of the real estate was oversupplied. Now, you find a lot of high-end complexes. For example, I've got specifics. Suppose you have nine apartments, but for the whole year, only 4 are occupied. So it's very important to also to understand how the markets, how the population, who are you targeting? Who this housing development you are embarking on, who are you targeting? And for how long is it going to be sustainable to be having tenants in those apartments? And the other factor that we observe as real estate investors and practitioners is, what is the government saying? What are the regulations? What are their policies? What are the laws? Taxation. So you need to observe. When the budget is pronounced, we look out to see what are they saying about housing. What are the taxes? Are they increasing the taxes? Is there any incentives? And how do we harness what is in the budget? Government legislation is another important factor that can impact on housing demand and prices. Being aware of the current government policies helps to understand the direction the housing market will be heading and ultimately the pricing. For example, if the government sets up a fund to fund housing units for civil servants at low interest rates, this action by the government will affect the housing market in many ways, because now the private sector will have now who access funding at high interest rates. They are going to be affected because now the market is going to shift. There will be a shift in the market, because now all the clients for the civil service will move to that facility. So these are very important to be focusing and also observing what the government is saying, what laws have they implemented, what are the intentions. In most cases, when we observe there's something which the government is trying to implement, we come in and try to put reason from the practitioner point of view, and put reason to those policies. And in most cases, they listen because their interest is to grow the real estate market. Because it's very important. Also, the investor is interested in knowing how long will they hold on to their investment, as well as how to exit, because some of the policies can affect your exit from the market, because there's an entry and exit. Because you develop, you may want to exit. Are you able to exit? Because there's some laws in different countries that make it very difficult for you to exit, so that you hold the property investment in that country. So listeners, these are some of the factors you need to look out for as a real estate investor, and they're very, very critical as you move on your journey of investment. We'll continue to navigate through this arena of real estate and real estate investment and transactions.
Horizon Properties. Now joining me in the studio this evening, I have Barry Adrian, who is the Sales and Listings Coordinator. We're also joined by Derek Atongo, Sales Projects Officer, and we also have Lutanda Kauta, who is the Sales Executive, all from Horizon Properties. Gentlemen, good evening, and you welcome to the program.
Good evening, Norman. Thank you so much for having us tonight.
Okay. Your reaction here to the doctor's presentation?
The presentation has a lot of data and a lot of information, of course, given tonight. And as we all know, I think there are a lot of mushrooming, of course, developers on the market right now that may not have the information that Dr. Gakshan gets to present on tonight. And what I would want to urge the listeners out there is please take interest in this particular presentation, especially for those that may not have this information. Evidence is there out there of a number of developments, be it housing, be it land developments that took off with all the noise and everything, but right now when you go there, it's solid sites. The reason they didn't have the information. So information has been given tonight, and if you're someone who's listening, and someone who's interested, or someone who has maybe plans of getting into housing development, it may not be now, but you're better off getting the information now so that you can use it later. Not when the mistakes are made and you are in that stage, like what we see in some developments out there. That's when now you start coming around and saying, guys, we can't put this development and do anything. Please get the information, and if you're someone who wants clarity, you want to get more information with regards to housing development and the factors that is presented that may affect housing development, please send us an email to info@thehorizonproperties.com. So much information has been given, and we are not selling this information. Information is being given for free. So we urge you to reach out by sending an email to info@thehorizonproperties.com, and information will be given to you.
All right. Now, obviously, quickly before we get to obviously break up for the headlines at 19 hours, when someone is thinking about long-term benefits and you want to invest in land, especially for young people, a lot of young people are not necessarily looking at buying land currently. But how do you change? How do you change? Where do you even start when you're looking at careers or businesses? And this is a young person, and you're thinking, what are my long-term benefits if I was to invest in land?
I will tell you, for the most part, yes, young people are not really thinking about land right now. However, we have noticed there's a change. The number is growing, but it is not at what I would call a safe level yet, where we'll be comfortable in saying, you know what, even young people are actually talking about property, that are seriously considering property. I would say the number is negligible, you see. But it is growing, so we've got hopes, and just as I would say people's interests have also started to sway or expand from employment to also entrepreneurship, the same has also spilled over into property ownership, and this is also happening with the young. So it is an exciting time to see the property landscape in the country, especially with young people, so to say. And Mr. Zaza, to start off with the benefits that young people, of course, will get from starting to invest in land, or rather in property, real property now, it is immense, Mr. Zaza. For one, let's define what a young person is in this context. I think let's start it off, say, somebody in their 20s, say me 20, 25, I think that's a safe number. At this point, obviously, somebody is working and they're having an income. So they might have a little bit of cash here and there. And in my mind, this person could be married or not married, but I have a picture of somebody who's not married yet and yet is looking to set up a family. He's already gotten his employment and so to say he's starting to live life a little. So Mr. Zaza, if this person was to start investing in property, say at 25, and we know that property is not a business where we're good at it, or then you sell it tomorrow and then you're making a profit of 20, 50,000 and upwards of that. No, it takes a little bit of time because it needs to appreciate, Mr. Zaza. There's no way Magula plot in Guerrero for 250,000 lego, rather on the 1st of August. And then on the 15th of August, you're thinking, you know what, let me make a 50. It is possible, by the way. It is possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just, if we're generally speaking here, we're going to say it is not really feasible. But you can, of course, strike gold here and there. So most likely for you to gain, say, the 50,000 appreciation in value or 100,000, it's going to take about 2 years plus or more, but it will come. Now, if you say, get this property at 25, this is a 25-year-old man, 25-year-old man or woman gets a said plot, I have a predisposition for big land, so Nzakambat farmland, yes? Because if you're 25, you don't really have readily disposable income. Kugula plot, yama 250, yama 300. And when you're talking about smaller plots in Menelilai, Silverest and whatnot, you're going to be talking about 300 and above for a 20 by 30. But of course, you're counting your coins as a young man, so you're going to think, okay, let me start with the cheapest route. The cheapest route would be obviously you getting farmland, meaning on the outskirts of town. Yes? Muzabuela Kulis, example, Kuchongwe, where we're going to sell you, or rather in Chinyunyu, where we're going to sell you a 5 acre for 50,000, or Tizabuela Manjeku, which areas do we have? Again, in the in the Greater side. Nigani is 75,000. Which one is that one?
That one is in Chamlimba.
So we have Chamlimba, 5 acres going for 75,000, and then we take you in Chifwema, where it's going to be 50 acres going at 350, or even the smaller acreage of 5 acres going at 60,000, and the 20 acre package going at 160,000, is it? 160,000, and all
That's in
these.
Chiawa, actually.
That's the. What did I say?
Chifwema.
Chifwema, sorry. So then when we take you again in Chisamba, where you're going to get a 5 acres for 100,000. So that all these packages, yes. So say you do get land 5 acres for 100,000, Mr. Zaza, in our Chisamba site, and then you hold on to it for 10 years. Yes, 10 years, Mr. Zaza. You bought it when you were 25. Now 10 years later, you're 35. So you're still in your youth, isn't it? So you're still fresh, Mr. Zaza. You're not tired yet. You still have your energy. But guess what? This is a property that you bought at 100,000 10 years before, and now you have 5 acres to your name. And now 10 years later, you can basically, again, these are just discussions where we're talking about value appreciation. We don't really have a food stamp on them, but if you're to calculate on what is happening right now, you'll find that a plot that was selling in Silverest for 200,000 3 years ago is now selling at 350,000 today. That's just 3 years. So again, there are different areas and different types of mathematics that are equated to these areas. So in Chisamba, say in 10 years time, the 5 acres would even, the packaging is going to change. It will no longer be 5 acres that you're going to be selling there, because the population would have grown, and that place would also become more residential than a farming block. And then now you'll be selling 50 by 30s, 50 by 40s, and all of these. So now the value for your 5 acres, Mr. Zaza, will then grow to about $1 million or so. $1 million kwacha 10 years before, you only spent 100,000 kwacha to gain it. And then now, what do you do with $1 million? You can then further, because it's still young, answer, of course, whatever life problems you have with it, and then continue now expanding your asset portfolio further. Now, these are some of the things that we say you tend to benefit, unlike where you get into it at an advanced age, Mr. Zaza. This is, say, you're close to retirement, you're in your 50s, and then you buy 5 acres and whatnot. And maybe you're not so much of a farmer, but you're thinking of farming and everything. But then, what are you doing really with that land? It's good that you've at least added value to your name, other than just your papers of knowing you are accountant or you are Chan, and here's his NRC and here's his qualification. Now you actually have something substantial that you can pass on. Because I'm a certificate, I'm a diploma and everything, you take them to your grave yourself. Or pardon the terminology, I'm not trying to sound rough, but you can't pass them on to your children. But then here's the title, you can pass it on to your child. You see? Manje, if you buy property at 50, Mr. Zaza, you're not really buying the property for yourself, if you're being honest. You're buying it for your children.
For the future.
Yeah. No, you don't have any future at 50.
Not your future.
50-year-olds don't, yeah.
It's for your future and your children.
Exactly, you see? But then you're buying it at 25 or even 35 and whatnot. You now live this existence where you're seeing your property mature. It grows with you. And then the benefits are not only going to be passed on to your children, of which you can do, but even you stand to benefit from the very same value appreciation. And then if we get into value appreciation, or rather just the word appreciation, I will sound a little rough, I'm sorry. Mr. Zaza, if you study property and what has been happening around property, it's that the person who sweated to get that property, they understand the value. And as a result of them understanding the value, even the way they treasure it and use it, you'll be able to tell, now the people that you've left it for, you bought it at 50 or whatever, now you've handed it over to your children. Mr. Zaza, they might not have the principles that you have. They don't understand what you did, what you sweated, and the type of savings, the type of turmoil you had to go with your partner, Manje, trying to convince her, no, madam, trying to go to land and whatnot, and the sacrifices that you put the family through. They don't understand this. Now, here they are, you've got 3-4 children, you've left them behind, and what do they do with the land? Nika 5 acres or even 10 acres, and you're thinking, oh yeah, they will do this, and you've got all these big dreams for them, but they don't share in that passion, they don't share the dream. What do? Again, I'm not saying please do not buy property for your children, I'm not saying that. I'm just bringing out another side of the story. So Mr. Zaza Mawasila, what do? And now we're talking about pastors, now you're no longer existent. These people now just squander the property. And then they move on and now wallop in turmoil, manje. But even Darama, they've got nothing to their name. What you toiled for to leave to them, they didn't appreciate. So, if you start investing in property young, also what will happen is that your children also understand the relationship with property. You see, it won't be something new to them. Education manje, you're going to be instilling into them. So we are many issue of sacrifice and everything. You're 35 now, your children are maybe 10, 15 and whatnot. But what are they seeing? They're seeing you invest in property, you're telling them what property is and what benefits are there, and they actually see you benefit from, say, property, other than just farming and its multiple land usages and all of these things. They see what you do with property. Mr. Zaza, most likely, these children, if you started young and like older, where they did not see you, they don't understand it, but bezabe property lipo chabe. If they see you grow with it, and you grow in it with them, most likely these people will become property investors, and whatever asset you leave behind is going to be solid.
And picking on exactly what you say, I think it also helps instill, of course, a bit of knowledge in your children, because the issues that we've seen around, or maybe what has been prevailing, is that maybe someone works so hard to buy assets here and there, maybe buy others' land, others buy houses around it. The next thing you see is once they're normal, the family rushes to sell those particular properties because they didn't understand the value. But if someone spends a bit of time to understand the importance of creating, of course, wealth through a land acquisition or property ownership, trust me, they're going to value those particular properties, look after them and preserve your legacy, so to say. But if it's in a situation where maybe, God forbid, you pass on and kids are left with things that, of course, they never interacted with. They didn't even know what it took for you to, of course, acquire those particular properties. The first thing they'll see is, Papua Ramania. Papua Ramania, now they'll have the money to sponsor their temptations. Because, there's a saying that they say to say, you can't boast of being morally upright until you have money to sponsor your temptations. So that particular time comes in. And what will happen is that everything else that they saw around that they couldn't afford, this is now the time for them to do the experiments. So the best we can do is we can prevent this from happening. As you start out your life, the best you do is rush to invest in property. Buy property as much as you can while you're still young, so that those that are entrusted in your care, be it your kids or your dependent, can actually get to interact with this particular property. So interact with your investment. Get to understand what it takes for you to own property. That way, what's going to happen is that they will grow to love and hold these particular assets that you have acquired to a certain degree, to a point whereby even them letting go, it's going to be hard. But if it's a point where the moment you're gone, trust me, they will rush for that, because it will be now their time to eat. And their time to eat, it will be extreme, because them don't just get the rentals or whatever it is that you have been getting from those particular properties. All they will rush to do is sell.
They want to live a lifestyle they never had.
So all this can be presented. And another important aspect of which, as you watch your land appreciate in value, or that particular property, of course, gain in value, is that these investing in land or property area, of course, helps you with passive income. Because these days we've seen a lot of spaces which have been leased out, and those particular people who've gotten those properties on lease are paying certain amounts of money to the owners of particular properties, whilst developing those particular spaces. And trust me, there's nothing which can be satisfying no than having a piece of land in a strategic point, and someone comes, approaches you, you lease out your space, whilst you're being paid, someone develops it to a point whereby even after they leave, you'll be in a position to either rent it out to someone else or sell it at a much more higher value than what it would have costed that if it was just left as land. So yes, they lease that particular passive income, and then despite you leasing out, you can also use it for farming. You can use it for farming and actually get to earn a living out of it. So there's a lot that we can talk about, but the best is, please invest in property whilst you're still young. Because most of what we see these days is as a result of lack of information back then. But now the information is here. We have Horizon Properties, which gives us this information each and every Tuesday. So you cannot give an excuse to say, no, I didn't know. Because the information is being given for free. Back then, no, we didn't know. This is why on the show I've said it so many times. Others were buying land, our uncles were busy fighting for cancer houses. So there's a lot that we can talk about, but the best to invest in properties right now. If you did invest 20 years ago, the best time is now.
Mr. Zaza, just to go on with the cue that he used, the saying of the very same tree, they say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. So the people right now, the 25-year-olds, the people in their 20s, maybe younger than 25, and even the people in their 35s and maybe upper 30s also. You see, your 20 years is actually now. Your before is now. Unlike the time where you're 50, 55, then the best time is now because I've lost my 20 years. So this is the best time that they do this while they're still young and they have their youthfulness. And also just to expand on Mr. Adrian's point of farming, right? We could maybe even call this farmpreneurship, right? Because the element of farming, of it being a hobby and a practice, and obviously using it as a business. You see, farming is not for one easy. Not only that, it is also for you to acquire farmland. You won't find it in close proximities to the CBD. It's going to be in distant places. Now, Mr. Zaza was retired in a 60 or 55. You don't have time of going to the farmland and come maybe to market, or maybe you even reside. You don't reside on your farm. You reside in town. The back and forth, you don't have the energy for that. You see? And also the learning issue of now, no, this is the way they grow off-season maize, or this is the way they grow nima apricot or butternuts. You don't have the time for that.
You know, that reminds me, eh?
Yes.
You know, the people who have seen rushing to buy farms in their retirement when they're so little money to.
You see? But then even the element of having finances at the time, if you're young, you build up finances, Mr. Zaza, and your farm starts to develop with you, and also the knowledge base in farming. You will fall, you will whatnot. But then guess what? If you're, say, 20, 25, and all these young ages are same, most likely you'll find that you don't have the obligation of a big family. Maybe you haven't even married yet. So you can make mistakes. Will you bet, no, my wife is going to sleep hungry, or my children are going to sleep hungry? No, you can afford to make mistakes, Fadia. Now, when you're older, and you've got responsibilities. So these are the advantages of young people, of course, getting property now. But then, Mr. Zaza, there's an incredible saying that the old man here just put up, and I would like for him to repeat it. That was, monumental for me. Ndala, please.
You want me to pick a fight?
I don't care about the fight. I want you to say it again.
Oh yeah. So I think what I said is that people cannot boast, of course, of being moral and right until they have the money to sponsor their temptations. And in most times, people can afford to sponsor those temptations when they are selling your assets once you know.
Yes, it's easy to write a check in somebody's what is that?
They write a check from someone's sweat.
In somebody's account. Yes.
Yes.
Ndala, that's an incredible say.
Gentlemen have tended too much visuals.
Imagine that.
Okay. Now let's look at residential and farmland as well. What are some of the lesser known but high potential areas, be it residential or even farmland, that Horizon is listing, or maybe buyers may be overlooking because maybe they're focused on different areas and they don't know that they're actually high potential areas available currently?
Okay, so there is another saying again. Where, of course, a lot of people say, there's a famous saying of saying, an owner in Zambia would always want to buy land along Cairo Road. Like each and every Zambian that you actually get to meet and talk to, all their dream is to buy land along Cairo Road. Because for them, that's their most preferred place where they can stay, where they can just get everything.
That was down.
Yeah, the moment you want to start driving them to 10 miles, driving them to Lusaka West, you're driving them to Mikango, what they feel is that you're driving them too far from civilization. For them, the place they can go home is the place which is nearby, where they can easily get on a bus and go to town, where they can easily walk to any supermarket and of course get some Hungry Lion and move into Greenland in town and get some ice cream. Of course, that's the goal of most Zambians. But what we don't understand is that for a long time, I think Lusaka has been concentrated along these areas of Kabulonga, Kamalas, depending on, of course, the social status and what you can afford. But we've come to a point where residential areas are coming up, a lot of knowledge is being given, and people now understand to say a residential development can actually come up in Silverest extension, like what we have in the Horizon Green Village housing development. So much done to a point where those that understand housing and, of course, how the city is expanding and the scarcity of land and everything, have gone ahead to procure plots in the Horizon Green Village. And then we have certain sites which are way too prime, or others may not be very prime currently, but give them 2-3 years. Those are spaces where there will be scarcity of land. Because even now, in certain spaces, we see people fighting for funds. The stories are everywhere. And the best you can do is to get land now. So I will put up a few of selected areas where we have land available for sale. And these particular areas, others have gone ahead to procure farms in those particular areas. And these particular areas, others have also gone ahead to procure residential plots. We may have plots for sale, we may have farms for sale, but most times it is the same group which are those who are just starting life, that when you take them to that particular plot, they will tell you, I want to stay in State Lodge. So we have spaces like on Leopard Zero Road, an area which we're calling Njorwe. Here we have 20 by 30 plots on title, and the price is only 100,000 kwacha. So like Rutanda said, if you're someone who's starting out, it's easier to get a loan and buy this particular plot and watch it grow. Whereas to still have time to pay off that particular loan. And in as much as maybe you may not want to go that route, you can do installments. Pay a certain amount of money and then have all the time to pay the balance within a specific period of time. So we have 20 by 30 plots in Njorwe for only 100,000 kwacha. Another very good area which has always been known for farms, but now you realize a lot of people have actually settled and are staying there. Others drive for work each and every day. You find them parking their vans along the way, selling vegetables as they drive back home or as they come for work in the morning. So this is Kasisi, where we have 5 acres of land selling for only 650,000 kwacha. And this is land which is on title, and it's only 9 kilometers from Kasisi Tamad. So those, like Rutanda said, to say who wants to get land now, and maybe later on in future, as these lands become fully developed as residential, we want to sell this particular 5 acre into subdivisions. Kasisi presents that opportunity for you, and for Kasisi, it will only take you 3 years from now. Advertised plots, you'll be getting almost 4 or 5 times this particular amount which is here. I spoke of Njorwe. I'll bring out Mikango as well. So Mikango, not long from now, before the tarmac was done, it was, people couldn't even go there. A lot of people couldn't even want to hear you talking about no farm in Mikango. But when you go there now, a number of developments are coming up, a number of farms have been of course developed, and a lot of people are staying there. And this has also increased the traffic on Lobadzo Road in the morning. You can tell how many people are staying there. So Wallace Land, let's say 7 acres on title, is still at 1,150,000 kwacha. Please secure it now, because these 7 acres on title in Mikango, 900 meters off Lobadzo Road is still available. These 7 acres, if you want, you can put up a house here and stay here and still drive back for a week every day. And if you're someone who wants, of course, to get any of these properties that I've mentioned, you can simply call me on 0777 00275
Okay, I was just tuned in. You are listening to Property Focus. Let's take a mini break.
Is the shopping. So if you're an entrepreneur who wants to invest into the gated community, maybe you want to buy your residence there, you have the shopping mall where you can be able to do your businesses. We have the hospital where we also are going to incorporate doctors. So if you're a doctor, why don't you buy into this gated community? We have the secondary school there. Teachers will be within this gated community. We have the primary school teachers as well. We have a game ranch there where all the residents will have time to just go there and relax. Okay? You'd want to watch animals that are there. You go there and be able to relax. Maybe there's someone that has visited your home and you want to take a walk. You can walk there and be able to watch some animals. Then we also have the police station. Remember, gated communities are known for security. Okay, so if you are a young couple, you're that is concerned about your security in your area where you're.
Let me bring you in, because we definitely need to talk about the Green Village on this show. In terms of design and concept, how does Horizon Green Village offer more than just shelter, but also a true living experience?
Okay, I've got quite a number of pointers, but due to time, let me just limit my pointers to just about 3. So the first one that I would like to talk about is obviously just the orderliness in the well-planned structures. Remember, we're coming up with a gated community that has placed the demands of the future generation on us as the ones that are living now. So we're coming up with this gated community because all the experiences that we've seen in different localities where we're coming from, where structures are not well planned, where in terms of construction, people are constructing just for the sake of them just having a roof on their heads. But us, we are building in line with the standards that are admissible by the local authorities and also even Horizon Properties, because we're into construction as well. So we are building a gated community that will live for a test of time. So we understand that Horizon Properties is actually giving an opportunity to the general public to buy into this gated community for them to actually build their dream homes that will actually last for a test of time, even to benefit the future generation that will come from these families that are buying into this gated community. Another aspect that I would like to make mention, that has actually brought true living experience to those that have actually purchased into this gated community. It's the sense of responsibility that comes with people buying into this gated community. Remember, we've been actually advocating that it is the high time that each one of us jump on the stage and be able to actually play their role in terms of fighting the effects of climate change. That is by preserving the environment, making sure that we're coexisting in terms of us that are living in this modern era also with nature, because we understand that people now are into this overdrive of wanting to just put pavers everywhere, making sure that their yard spaces are just like without any trees and anything. But I think in the Green Village, we are trying to advocate that in as much as we want to live in the modern age of this generation, we also need to make sure that we do not compromise our environment, because we cannot afford to deplete these resources, because if we do so, we are depriving the future generations that are yet to come. So there's that sense of responsibility. People are able to plant more trees, people are able to maintain their surroundings, people are able to actually use other sources of energy despite electricity being there, and also people now are doing the biodigester sewer system that we have actually made possible within the gated community. So that has actually helped people to have that sense of responsibility that they need to do that. Okay, as a result, like-minded people are being attracted to this gated community because they are bought into this vision, they are bought into this idea, and they are living it. And we're appealing to those that are listening to us. If you want to join this kind of community where people are buying into a vision that secures the future of this country, please come on board and be able to buy into this gated community. Another point that I would like to make mention on is that people are being given easy access to affordable land, as well as them becoming homeowners. Okay, because remember, you can only experience true living in a gated community when you can afford to buy into that gated community. And what we're doing as Horizon Properties, first and foremost, we made plots to be more affordable, okay, such that people are buying across different classes. It doesn't matter whether you're from the lower class, you are from the middle class, you're from the upper class, in as much as the Green Village appeals to the upper class, but at least we can confirm here that different people are buying into this gated community. Government workers are buying, private sector, those that are working in the private sector are able to buy. Those that are running their businesses, entrepreneurs, they are buying into this gated community because of that affordability aspect. So if you are listening to us and you want to actually experience how people are feeling to buy into this gated community, please come on board and be able to secure your plot. So we have two sizes of plots at the moment. We have the 20 by 22.5. Those are 450 square meters plots. Those are going for 120,000 kwacha. Okay, so if you're looking for an affordable plot in Silverest, we understand that a lot of people are buying plots in Silverest, about maybe a minimum of 200,000 kwacha. But when you come to the Green Village, you are able to buy a plot at 120. So if you're looking for affordable plots, come to the Green Village and you'll be able to secure yourself a plot. We also have the 30 by 30 plots. Those are going for 228,000 kwacha nono. A 30 by 30 plot in a gated community with water, electricity, already fenced, road networks is almost at 80%. Imagine you're getting that plot, which is a 30 by 30 at 228,000 kwacha. Those that are wondering whether we have a payment plan, yes, actually we do have a payment plan. So you shouldn't actually be afraid or be scared just to make an inquiry. Come to the Green Village, come to Horizon Properties, whether our Kablonga office or town office, even at our Woodlands office there. You'll be helped actually to actually get more information about the Green Village. So you can pay 50%, then we structure a payment plan for the balance that can remain. So those that are listening to us, if you want to schedule an appointment for you to view the plots in the Green Village, you can actually reach us through this number, which is 077-9707-215. I'll repeat the number, 077-9707-215. That number is on WhatsApp as well. You can just send us a message on WhatsApp, and our sales team will be able to pick your number and be able to call you so that you can schedule an appointment for you to view the Green Village and be able to secure your portion.
All right, thank you, Derek. Maybe due to time, can you throw in maybe 2 hot listings there quickly before obviously Adrian wraps up with what we can look forward to?
Okay, of course, with the interest of time, I will push us to Kanakantapa. This is where we have a nicely located 10-acre title smallholding. This is a road frontage of the main gravel road, about 15 kilometers from the Kasisi tarmac. The property has power on site and includes a 2-bedroom caretaker's house. This is going at only 650,000 kwacha. So 10 acres in Kanakantapa going at 650,000 kwacha, right along the main road of the main gravel road, that is. And then also in 10 miles, this is near Rockville University. We've got a nicely located 20 by 40 plot located near, of course, like I said, Rockville University, about 3 kilometers from Mungule Town Road. The property is suitable for residential or building boarding houses, and this property is only going at 155,000 kwacha. I think let me just push in one more. This time again we go to sorry for that, that's our Chalala 1-bedroom rental house. This is enclosed in a spacious yard with a borehole and water tank. The house is located in a developed neighborhood, only 300 meters from the tarmac. The rental for this 1-bedroom house in Chalala is only 3,500 kwacha. And for those people that have a property that would like to list, we'll be more than glad to help you. And for those that are interested in these and other listings that we have, you can simply contact the number 0977 800 203. That is 0977 800 203.
Yeah, and maybe not to cut you, just an emphasis to say what we give out of the show is just a glimpse of what we have available for sale. And if you're someone who wants to maybe have a better appreciation of all the listings that we have in terms of houses, plots, farms, you can name it, please check out Horizon Properties Limited on Facebook. Or if you're someone who is interested in the Green Village, please check out our page, which is specifically dedicated to the Green Village, which is Horizon Green Village Project Facebook page. And then if you're someone who's interested specifically in residential plots, we have a page which is of course dedicated to that, which is Horizon Properties, the residential plots page. And then we also have another page for those that are interested in farms, which is Horizon Properties Limited Farmlands, of course, Facebook page. And then if you're someone who wants to have a one-on-one interaction with any of us, or the guys back at the office, please do come through to of course, shop number 8 on Chindo Road, right in Kablonga, on the old Kablonga shopping complex. Or you can simply visit our office, which is in town, on the alley behind Lusaka Hotel. Our offices are clearly marked and nicely branded, so you definitely won't miss us. And we're also into construction. If someone who wants to talk to us and have a conversation about construction issues, you can simply visit our head office, which is in Woodlands, right opposite Woodlands Primary School, on your right if you're coming from Big and Bay. And for anything property, for anything real estate, you can simply get in touch with us by sending us an email to info@thehorizonproperties.com, or simply call me if you're not conversant with emails. Please simply call me on 0777 002756, send me a WhatsApp or even just a message on the number that I've said, which is 0777 002756.
Thank you so much, Javier. There we have it. That's it for today's episode of Property Focus. Be sure to catch us next week on Tuesday, just after 18:30, right here on Alta FM. Stay tuned.